Global tragedy! Russian drone intercepted with shocking discovery. What started as a small victory for Ukrainian forces quickly turned into a scene of terror. In the midst of the relentless fighting, Ukrainian soldiers managed to intercept the transmission from a Russian drone. At first, they thought they had gained a crucial tactical advantage by hacking into the video feed. But that illusion was shattered in a matter of seconds. What they saw on the screens sent chills down their spines. The drone wasn't just performing reconnaissance tasks. It was heading straight for their location. The initial relief felt by the soldiers turned into a desperate race against time. The drone, transmitting clear images of their shelter, made it clear that the Russians knew exactly where they were. One of the soldiers, with a tone of panic and resignation, managed to say, "It's here. This is our building." Reality hit them like an avalanche. Time was running out, and any attempt to neutralize the threat would be useless. The drone was so close that there was no room for an effective defense. The tension was palpable, and in a matter of seconds, what seemed like a victory turned into a life-or-death situation. The drone hit the roof of the building, abruptly cutting off the video transmission. Although there was no immediate explosion, the Ukrainian soldiers knew that the danger was still present. These Russian drones, known for carrying explosives or acting as guides for artillery strikes, had proven their lethality in the past. There was no time to evaluate the next step, and the only viable option was to evacuate before the final blow came. Amidst the confusion, the soldiers shouted desperately, "We need to get out of here!" This incident is not an isolated one. The war in Ukraine has been marked by the massive use of drones by Russia. Equipment such as the S-70 Ognik or the Geranio have become protagonists in this modern war, where battles are not only decided on the ground, but also from the air. Russian drones have proven to be not only reconnaissance tools, but also lethal weapons that sow terror among Ukrainian troops. Their ability to identify enemy positions and coordinate attacks with pinpoint accuracy has tipped the balance of the conflict in Russia's favor on multiple occasions. These devices not only gather vital information for Russian forces, but also inflict a devastating psychological impact. The constant fear of being watched and attacked at any moment weakens the morale of Ukrainian forces, who cannot predict when or where the next blow will fall. Uncertainty becomes just another enemy, creating an environment of panic among the soldiers who must constantly move to avoid being located and attacked. The use of drones in this conflict has radically changed the dynamics of the battlefield. Traditional face-to-face combat has been replaced by a technological war in which machines play a key role. Russian UAVs, equipped with advanced cameras and precision guidance technology, allow Russian forces to observe and attack from a distance without exposing their own soldiers. This tactical advantage has resulted in a series of decisive victories for Russia, and has left Ukrainian forces struggling to keep up. This latest incident highlights the lack of preparedness of Ukrainian forces to counter this threat. Despite efforts to improve its air defense, Ukraine continues to lag behind in terms of military technology. The inability to effectively shoot down or neutralize these drones has allowed Russia to maintain control over key areas of the conflict. Every time a drone appears in the sky, Ukrainian soldiers know that danger is imminent and that any mistake could be fatal. Air control provided by these drones has allowed Russia not only to identify weak points in Ukrainian defences, but also to launch coordinated attacks that take their enemies by surprise. The speed with which they can transmit vital information to Russian troops on the ground has given them a significant advantage. In many cases, Ukrainian soldiers do not have time to react before the attack is unleashed, leaving them with little choice but to retreat. The war in Ukraine has proven to be a conflict where technology and psychology play equally important roles. Drones, beyond their direct lethality, have sown fear and uncertainty in the Ukrainian ranks. This latest episode, in which Ukrainian troops intercepted a drone only to discover they were under surveillance, is yet another reminder of how modern warfare has evolved. It is not just a physical fight, but also a battle for control of airspace, technology, and ultimately the minds of the soldiers on the battlefield. In this final chapter, we will delve into how Vladimir Putin's decisions and strategies have shaped the war in Ukraine. Since the beginning of the conflict, Putin has been an omnipresent figure, and his decisions have had a profound impact on the course of the war. We will analyze his goals, his tactics, and how his leadership has marked this conflict. What is Putin really after with this war? How has he used technology and psychology to further his interests? And most importantly, what is the human and geopolitical cost of his actions? This chapter will give you an in-depth look at the central figure behind the war and its consequences for the future of the region. As we unravel the complexities of Putin's leadership, it becomes clear that the war in Ukraine is as much a battle for territory as it is a struggle of wills and strategies. Ultimately, understanding Putin's role in this war is critical to anticipating the next steps in this ever-changing conflict. The future of Ukraine, and possibly that of Europe, hangs in the balance, influenced by the decisions of a single man. Pause 2S. Thank you for joining us on this in-depth exploration of the war in Ukraine. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to stay up to date on the latest developments and analysis of global conflicts. While we have explored Vladimir Putin's role in the war in Ukraine, it is also vital to analyze the leadership of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Since the beginning of the conflict, Zelensky has emerged as a resilient and determined figure facing one of the greatest challenges in his country's history. We will analyze his strategic decisions, his ability to unify the nation, and his efforts to garner international support in the midst of a desperate situation. How has Zelensky handled the internal and external pressure? What tactics has he used to resist the Russian invasion? In addition, we will explore the impact of his leadership on the morale of the Ukrainian people and on the global perception of the conflict. Zelensky's determination and fighting spirit have been a beacon of hope for many, but they have also led to difficult decisions and immense sacrifices. By understanding Zelensky's role, we gain a more complete picture of the war in Ukraine and the forces shaping its future. Thank you for joining us for this series. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to stay up to date on the latest analysis and developments of global conflict.